Welcome to another episode of InRange. I have on the table in front of me today the Desert Tech SRS A2 Covert Bullpup bolt action rifle. This one happens to be chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, but I'll get more to that in a moment. This does have an ATN digital scope, the X-Sight 4K. I use this at Desert Brutality, and while this scope has a lot of interesting qualities going for it, it really isn't that great past 300-400 yards, and I found that out at the match. This scope is not up to the task of the quality of this rifle. But I do have some live fire later in this video showing how incredibly accurate and precise this rifle actually is, even though I'm using this scope. This scope is a topic for another day. I also have this Atlas bipod and a PBS-1 Wolverine suppressor, also not topics for this video. However, putting a suppressor on a very short weapon, such as this Bullpup bolt action, is a very nice and convenient thing because it obviously adds some length. So speaking of that, because this is a Bullpup, this has an 18-inch barrel, meaning you're not sacrificing anything in regards to velocity with 6.5 Creedmoor, but a 29-inch overall length. That's very impressive, and of course that's something you can achieve with a Bullpup style design. Now, the SRS system is actually a chassis system. You can buy just the chassis, and you can buy cartridge conversion kits in either 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, or 300 Win Mag, and with your one chassis, and within just a few minutes actually, and some locking bolts, switch this from any cartridge to another. You can go from 308 to 6.5 Creedmoor to 300 Win Mag, all within a few minutes. And the system is designed to do that. Now, I got this one specifically already out of the box in 6.5 Creedmoor because that was my personal desire. That's the cartridge I want to deal with. I frequently question the ability to, or the need to have quick conversions for cartridges on many rifles. That said, when it comes to a precision rifle like this, going from 308 or 6.5 Creedmoor to 300 Win Mag dramatically changes the ballistic capabilities of the weapon, and I can see where in a precision weapon that actually makes more sense. Now, in regards to the handling, it is exactly what you'd expect. It is a bolt action bullpup. So that means you're firing right here, and the bolt action is really right next to your head. At first, you would think that this would be very unwieldy, and at first it actually is. But once you get used to it, this does not slow you down whatsoever. You can keep your head on the gun, cycle the bolt, no problem whatsoever. Additionally, this is of course configured for a right-hander at the moment, but I did provide this exact rifle to Sinistral Rifleman Russell Fagan, my left-handed friend, also on the show, and he fired it left-handed, just put his cheek here, and had no issues. He just lifted his head when he ran the bolt. In fact, it might have been a little faster for him, which is pretty interesting. It's got a safety right here, which is back for safe, forward for fire, and a very precise match-grade precision trigger, which can be adjusted for your particular peculiarities and desires in regards to trigger weight and trigger press. But as you can see, flip forward on safe, and it is a quite light single-stage trigger, which of course helps with precision. Now, it is of course a free-floated barrel, and this gun provides all the accuracy that you would expect. It takes 5 and 10 round magazines. Currently, I don't have them on display here. You'll see them later in the video. As well as, of course, it has this rear adjustable system where you can set a monopod in the back and stabilize your position for whatever angle you're shooting at. That helps, of course, with precision fire. Additionally, it even has a spring-loaded piece on the bottom that can make this even taller, and you can pretty much be at any firing solution angle with your monopod in the rear, should you need it to be. Your mag release is right here. And I mean, it's a simple gun. It's a bolt action gun. It's just very unique in terms of it being a bullpup bolt action. Field strip is, of course, just as simple. Flip this over, and there are spacers here on the rear. You can add as many spacers as you wish to increase the length of pull for you, the shooter. This is how I have it set up. But you push this little lever. Of course, comes right off. Once that comes off, there's a spacer in here because I have a shorter throw in that I'm chambered for 6.5 Creedmoor and not 300 Win Mag. Once you pull the spacer out, unlock the bolt, pull it to the rear, and that's it. That's your field strip of this rifle. At that point, you can clean from the breech, do whatever you need to do. When you're done, put the bolt back in, put the spacer back in, and then put the butt plate back in, and you're ready to go. Let's take a little closer look at the bolt. So when you look at the bolt, the first thing you see is what looks like just 3 locking lugs. But the reality is, there's more going on than that. There are locking lugs behind locking lugs. And in fact, for those of you familiar with the Canadian Ross rifle from World War I, initially tried to be used as a combat weapon, but was more suited to the precision sniper role because it wasn't really ready for the dirt and grime of the front. Had multiple locking lugs, and the reason for that is for precision and accuracy. Each one of these locking surfaces means that you're going to have consistency in the lockup. Consistency in lockup is one of the more important things, along with quality ammunition, free floated barrel, etc. But one of the most important things is consistency of lockup, and having so many contact surfaces and locking surfaces means you're getting that with this bolt. So as I said earlier, here's how you put the gun back together. It's extremely simple. Put the bolt in, close it. Take your spacer, insert it. You take your butt plate, line it all up, and just snap it in place. That's all there is to it. That's all you need to do to field strip. And at this point, you're ready to go. Let's take this out into the desert and shoot it out to around 300 yards so I can show you some of the precision that this weapon's really capable of bringing to the table, even with this less than optimal scope. Okay, we're at 100 yards, steel out in the desert, 6-round magazine of Magtech 6.5 Creedmoor, 140 grain FMJ ball. This is not match grade, this isn't even open tip match, it's just FMJ ball. So this is going to be probably one of the worst performers out of this gun that we could use, but it's what I currently have in our current ammo shortage. So let's go ahead and just put some headshots on that steel target. Well, one small flyer, but I think we can call that a success. Let's move back to 200 yards. Okay, we're at 200 yards. 6.5 Creedmoor shoots quite flat, much flatter than 308. That's one of its huge advantages. It's its ballistic coefficient and its flat trajectory. So here, for headshots at 200, I should just be able to have to favor just slightly high and keep them all in there. Shouldn't take much at all. Let's find out. Wind got me a little bit on that one. There we go. We do have a crosswind right to left. Well, I don't think we can argue with that. The crosswind caught me on the first round, but I still hit the head. The rest of that group is phenomenal. So I held the same aiming point the whole time to keep a group. I wasn't going to worry about the windage at that point. I wanted to fire the group. So 200 yards, even with just Magtech 6.5 Creedmoor, we're rocking it. Let's move out to 300. So here we are at 300 yards. 300 yards in the desert is a lot different than 300 yards in the range. That looks super far away. Got 5 rounds this time, not 6. Running out of this stuff, I can't just keep doing this. And I've plugged in the manufacturer's data into Desert Tech's ballistic calculator, and I have a firing solution. I should hold off about 1 mil at this distance for these headshots. but I also have a prevalent right to left wind that I have to hold off for as well. So that's one of the challenges. So let's see how many of these 5 rounds I can get into that head down there. The answer is 5. 5 out of 5 300-yard headshots. Well, I just got done with that 100 to 300-yard headshot course of fire, and boy did this rifle perform. As you just saw, this is a phenomenally accurate, easy-to-use rifle. Desert Tech is known for their precision rifles, and I can absolutely see why after using this one. Now, I have to say when I first got it, I did find the ergonomics to be a little strange. It is a Bullpup bolt action after all. But once you use it a little bit, don't let that discourage you. It actually becomes very ergonomic and the weapon is well thought out. And this bolt being here near your head isn't a problem at all. In fact, you can keep your head on target, no problem. Keep the scope on target. That's not an issue at all. Once you get used to where it is, you can just run that thing just like you would any other bolt action. You just have to get used to it. Of course, detachable magazines, 6 round and 10 round is a wonderful feature. On top of that, this monopod on the back is long enough to be used in any field condition. I haven't found it to not be long enough in any situation at any strange elevation, so that's excellent. The gun balances well. The recoil is mild for what it is. Of course, you get 18 inches of barrel out of this SRS A2 Covert in 6.5 Creedmoor, at least in this configuration, which makes it a wonderful platform for a suppressor, but still stays reasonably short. Very handling, really easy to handle rifle. So this is where, you know, I normally am pretty negative on bullpups, or have been historically on InRange, but Desert Tech has been changing my mind. The MDR is phenomenal, and this bolt action is absolutely phenomenal. Now, there will be videos coming about the scope and the bipod. That just hasn't happened yet, and that's not what this video is. This video is about this rifle. The other thing I do want to remind everyone is that everything you saw in this video, with the exception of this PVS-1 suppressor from Dead Air Silencers, was purchased by viewers like you via Patreon support for InRange. InRange has no corporate sponsorship, takes no money from YouTube, proactively demonetized, only you, the viewer, keep InRange alive. Every round fired was because of viewers like you supporting this channel and keeping its unique perspective and very honest reviews on the internet. And I'm thankful to each and every one of you. If you aren't one and like to consider it, you can find us at patreon.com/InRangeTV. If you can't, I do understand, but there is another thing you can do to help me. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below for the algorithm, but the truth is, YouTube's algorithm does not favor InRange. Being demonetized, dealing with guns, and some of the topics I deal with, YouTube not only doesn't promote my content, they frequently shadow ban it. So if you liked this content, please share with your friends on a forum, in an email, send them a link, in a text message, whatever works, because you can be an organic algorithm for InRange, and we don't have to worry about the corporate oligarchy telling us what we can or cannot watch. I'd like to thank everyone out there for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, intellectually stimulating, and also want to say thanks to Desert Tech for being a company that puts out such excellent products. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.